Hello, I'd like to do a quick video to instruct you on how to execute the 9th and 10th lesson of the course. So, for example, 79 and 80. 78 is the last unit that you have general study material with a guided conversation. You'll notice that the guided conversation does not have a 9th lesson. That's because you do a review. So the first thing that you should do on the 8th lesson, in this case, this is the 28th lesson, for homework, I'm giving the student the homework to review units 121 to 128. Okay, if I'm doing unit 78, I would write here review units 71 to 78. That means English only, so part A, part B. Don't worry about this listen only instruction. This is a special instruction for this particular student. But I'm giving the time of the lesson and the homework here in the Skype. So the student will listen to and repeat all of the units they have done in that particular course. For example, 71A, 71B, 72A, 72B, and so on until 78. So for the actual meeting, you'll see here, I noticed that this is 77, so 78, I'm going to have to prepare the student for the homework for the review. Now, when we actually do the review, let me go to the course. You'll see here 71 to 70 to 80. So 78 is a normal lesson. Now, when I start lesson 79, I'm going to actually go to unit 71. And I'm going to ask the student to read out loud to me the groups from the English. So the preparation that they did for the homework, they will do in front of you. And every part A, part B for this entire course, they will do. If there is a problem with pronunciation, for example, let's say this student has a insurance, doesn't pronounce well insurance, I'm going to copy and paste it into the Skype, and then I'll give this list of words to the student after they've completed 72, 73, 74, 75, 76, and 78. So that is what they do for the lesson, for the review lesson. They actually start reading all of the groups together with you, and then they correct the pronunciation. Now, just to show you again, after they've finished 78, reading 78 to you, then you ask them to correct the words that they made mistakes on, and then go to the next lesson. You'll see that there is Unit 79, and there is a review here, Unit 79. So you will open this and do this part of the lesson, review some of the grammar, and the grammar that you need to pass through is highlighted. So we're going to do exercise 10, we're going to do exercise 21, but only a few examples of 21. Then 22 I entirely skip. 23 I entirely skipped. I do 20 and I do the examples that are highlighted. So here the problem is to time the lesson so that your reading doesn't go over a half an hour, because you really need at least a half an hour to do the review here. You'll see that here there isn't a lot to do. Would you mind? Okay, I'm going to go directly to the example. I'm going to tell the student, okay, here's the example. You have a library book. You want the other person to take it back to the library for you. Okay, this book is due. Would you mind taking it back? That's what you want them to say. So you've finished dinner, you're about to wash dishes, you want the other person to dry them. Would you mind drying the dishes? Okay, they're pretty straightforward, they're not difficult. Okay, so just try to get as many of those as you can finished during the review lesson. Then I will send you the exam. The exam is here. It's a doc, and the student doesn't have access, of course, to this, but it's pretty much the same material as the review. So all you're doing is consolidating. You're going to start first by taking the one sentence at a time and feeding this into the students' Skype, giving this one line so that they read for you. So you spend about 5 minutes reading these texts and correcting the pronunciation. They shouldn't have really any problem with this. Then you have the exercises. You can just give the example in Skype, just feed that to them in Skype, and then one at a time give them the questions for the exam, always done through Skype. Do not share this document with the student, because then the student has access to the exam. While you're doing the exam, you want to keep track of how many questions the student answers well. So you may put this in writing. You may write exercise 1 and then making X's for all of the mistakes. Let's say they've made 3 mistakes. There are a total of 15 points in this exercise. So you may write on a piece of paper 3 mistakes, 12 of 15. Exercise 2, maybe they made 1 mistake and there were 10, so they got 9 out of 10. And then in the end, you add this up. So this student got 21 of 25, which is 84%. 84% is passing. Now, you don't really have to worry about marks. Students can make only 2 errors in 8 to pass. Just add it up in the end and try to remember which exercises the student had difficulty with, and advise the student. If the student doesn't get 60%, they must get 60%. Student need to pass with 60%. If they don't get 60%, then contact me and we'll do a review with them. Okay, so just make sure they get 60%, and most of the time they do. Okay, that's all. If you have any questions, just let me know.